afternoon Mondayness. Welcome. I think I'm at that phase in the Twitch channel where I can just be like, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Is that what everybody says? Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Whatever. Anyway. Alright, so we are back from the weekend. We're into the game. So the arcade was open and not really anybody showed up. Not very many people. We don't really have any. We don't have an advertising budget, so we don't get to advertise other than on Facebook. So we're cutting it up to that. That's why we were slow. There was nobody really in the arcade. Friday was a little bit better than Saturday, but yeah, Saturday was like maybe 7, 8 people the whole night. So not too good. We did not do very well in the arcade. Also, going to get back working at this pinball machine. I did some stuff yesterday or the other day. After the stream, I kind of put things back together and turned it on to see where we were at, and I blew a fuse. And so I'm going to finish up the other things I have to do in the back box, and then I got to track down where I'm now starting to blow a fuse, where before I wasn't. Just looking at my security camera. Yeah, so we weren't blowing fuses, and now we are, which means something has happened. I did something wrong. So we're going to have to go back through, and I will explain where we're at with that. But there's one last little piece that we haven't cleaned on inside the back box. So we are going to finish that real quick before moving on to tracking down this blown fuse and discussing how the world is. How is the day? Let's see. Here's our last little thing. I want to see if you can see this. We're doing the last coil here, which is this chime or bell coil, the big one. But look how it's mounted. Look, these plugs just come out. I don't have to unsolder anything. I don't have to hook anything. These plugs just come out. I don't know if they were all originally like that, and then over time when they replaced coils, they did it the other way, but that is really interesting. Let's see. So we're going to take and clean that real quick, and then start tracking down the fuse problem, and then after that, I have to work next in our arcade storage area because we keep getting more games. A person, the one vendor that is in Alamogordo who has a small business here in Alamogordo, he is trying to clean out his shop, and he wants to know what I want. And I said, bring everything by that you don't want, and I'll go through it, and I'll throw away what we can't use, and then we'll keep what we can. So he's of late been bringing us a lot of arcade parts and part machines. So I have to clean up our shop because it's crowded. He keeps bringing us. He brought us a Lethal Enforcers, which I got a part out, and then he brought us another one called Rad Mobile, which looks like it could be a working game at some point. So we're not going to part that one out, but I need to make some space over there. But anyway, let's get back to this coil here. Let's just get this taken care of and start tracking down our blowing fuse problem. I put all my tools away because it was oh, there we go, got one. Because the arcade was open, I had to clean up. Alright, so we're just going to change out the coil sleeve, clean the plunger, you know, all that regular business here. And then we'll talk about tracking down blowing fuses. At least in electromechanical. This should be fairly easy to do. 2 screws holding the chime on, the coil on. Just careful here. I don't have to be careful with the wires. I can just take them off. But for right now, let's just do that so gravity's working. You stay there. You come out here. And then I'm just going to take these little plugs out. Never have this opportunity to just unplug the coil. some new modern machines, I've been able to do that on flippers where you can just take the blade off, but huh. So there we are. We got with that guy. We'll just, since we got able to take it apart, we'll just swing it over to the desk and just deal with it on the desk. Hey, security camera. What? Yeah, we'll just deal with it over here. Anyway, how's everybody's day going? How was everybody's weekend? What's new in the world? I have to get my stuff back out. I put everything away. This is what happens when you have to open the arcade. There we go. Gotta get my alcohol back out. Straighten everything up. One of these times I'd like to stream us open, but I might have to do it without the audio because there's copyrighted music that plays in the arcade. But at least maybe have like a visual one day if we ever get busy again. Alright, these ones don't have a nut on the back. We're just going to take off that. This should be fairly quick. Oh, Brent left his stuff on my desk. Brent's Halloween stuff is on my desk. I gotta get rid of this. Hold on. Brent is really into Halloween and he's got a haunt. That he does every year. That's creepy. It's walking down the playfield. But he has to work on it like all year round, so it's always Halloween around here. And these coils here, these all the way through coils, you see them on your knocking ones or whatever. This is where I would say it's the second most common coil sleeve. Which, let me get my bag of coil sleeves. Everything was put away. Take that off. Let me just see. Pop that. Oh, thank goodness. Yay. Yay for small miracles. Now, I've got two different ones here in my bag of longer ones. See, I don't keep as many of these because you're not going to use as many of those as you do the regular ones. But I would say that these... Ooh, one of our trucks are here. Let's go. I'm saying this is the guy I got to put in here. Yep. A little bit shorter, but it's okay. This one was a little too long, I think. Always going to have a bunch of coil sleeves. Bring on the coil sleeves. What's that? Okay. This guy. Oh, yeah, goes all the way through. Why my brain was like, where's the coil stop? There is no coil stop. You don't stop the coil, it goes. One of our delivery trucks just showed up for the restaurant. Luckily, I don't have to deal with it because I'm in here. There's that guy. There's our plunger. Looking pretty dirty. Of course, they've all been pretty grubby. Oops. That came out. Hold on. Careful. Don't lose the plastic piece. What do we do if that comes out? I would assume we glue it back in. It's probably just in there with friction before. This little nylon rod tip. This is what hits the metal. You don't want the metal hitting metal because, you know, risk of a spark. This one's pretty loose. I'm going to see if I have any. I should have some glue up here. Something I can use real quick. If not, Brett was gluing something earlier. Just put it back in and hope for the best. Yeah. I mean, it's a bell. How often is a bell going to fire? I mean, really. Hey, Pez. All right, let me go grab some glue. Glue. Do I have glue or I have to steal Brent's glue? Adhesive remover. What is this? Clear seal. Nah, I gotta get some glue. I'll be right back, just a second. How was the arcade over the weekend? The arcade over the weekend sucked. We didn't have very many people at all. Like I said, Saturday was maybe like 8 people the whole night, and then Friday maybe 10 or 12. But yeah, it was sad and super slow. Let me talk about, this is Brent's glue. I mean, you could use whatever glue, but anyway. This is nuts. Maybe the word will get around. Hopefully, we might have to close again. The county changes. This is Brent's glue. This is what bothers me about Brent. Who squeezes glue like this? Don't squeeze it like that. He probably does that with the toothpaste too. Start at the bottom of the tube, Brent. What are you doing? This is Brent's glue. I have to deal with it, but I like this stuff for costumes when I do cosplay because it's flexible when you glue stuff to your costume. Anyway, it'll work for what we need. I was just going to ask how he handles his toothpaste. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he does this with all of the tubes. You just squeeze from the middle, and then you have to push them back up. Like, what are you doing, Brent? Just let a little bit drip in here. Come on. I think that's enough. That's enough. Got a little bit of a spider web coming off there. Okay, maybe I got a little too much because now we got pressure underneath it. There's not enough of a gap along the sides. Alright. I'm going to have to wipe some of it out. I didn't think I put that much in there. Ooh, there we go. There we go. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. Maybe not a minute, just a few seconds. Just to get it going while we get this sleeve in here. Yeah, so we gotta get this, and I gotta figure out why I'm blowing fuses. But I've narrowed it down, but we'll talk about how we've narrowed it down. Alright, clean this guy off real quick. New coil sleeve. Make sure we put this in the right direction, because that happens sometimes. I mean, this is obviously not going to be, we're not going to use it very quickly here. Always clean out these, even if they're new. This one's a lot longer than the old one, or than the other size ones. Alright, so the coil sits like that. So I need to have this like that. So that's how that went. It'll go in there like that, but you can't put all that in there without this guy. I want to make sure that we're not going to get any glue on the inside of the coil sleeve. And I don't, yeah, none of it oozed out the top here, so I'm just going to slide that back up in here. Put that up here, just like that. And then the metal part hits the rubber stopper, plastic part hits the bell. Yes, I know I have to put this part on too. There we go. Easy peasy. Get this done quick enough and we can start looking into my fuse problem. I refuse. Refusing to do it. Oh, so the vendor guy who's bringing us all these free games, he says he's going to bring us pinball machines that are either free or close to free, which that's always good. So that means that a lot of these machines may just not be good enough to get working. They may be machines that we're going to have to part out, but I will do my best. Trust me, I will do my best to see whether or not they're good enough to be working. Do you need me to take one of those free games? You know what, Pez? Let's wait and see what he brings us. But I will do the best determination whether or not a game is worth saving. If not, we will have to part it out. So that will go beyond. So basically what I'll do is I'll evaluate whether or not it can be fixed and playable, and then I'll evaluate whether or not we want it, because Viking funerals, maybe. We'll put the WD-40 in them. See what happens. But we want to part them out. If we have to, we'll part it out because, you know, coils and switches and all that kind of stuff for whatever pinball machines he's going to bring us. If I can't repair them and we don't want them, we are going to have a bunch of parts, a ton of parts. Plus, if we got some decent cabinets, maybe we can make our own pinball machines, and you know, maybe we can do some sort of re-theme on something. Take an old one and just re-theme it. I don't know. We'll see. I know he has a lot. He has a ton of electromechanicals. I saw it in his shop, but they are all folded up, and I'm not quite sure what exactly he has. But he has a ton of electromechanicals. I know he had a volley. I saw that in there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But he brought us yesterday. He brought us the Lethal Enforcers arcade game, which I'm going to part out. And then today he brought the Rad Mobile arcade game, which I think I could get working if I found a monitor. But we don't. Brent doesn't really want it, and I don't really care. But I like to see all games live. All games need to live. How about you see what I see? Do you see what I see? I think he's just trying to downsize his shop and stuff, so he has more room for the things that he's actually has on location. Some of the things that we want that he hasn't given or asked or seen if we could buy it yet. He has a Space Invaders pinball that we'd like to have. That doesn't quite work, but what does that matter to me? Be cool to have Space Invaders. Alright. There's that. And look, the easiest coil thing ever. Just plug it back in. Plug that one in. And plug this one in. And then the coil's in. I've never seen that set up with the coil to have it plugged like that. It's cool though. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. Obviously. We can't turn it on anyway. Yeah, well, plugs on the coils. Yeah, I know. That's crazy weird. You know, this is just an aesthetic thing, but it probably should take that bell off and clean all that off. I don't know what the tape was. Somebody probably put tape in here to dampen the sound a little bit. But I think I could take that off at some point and clean that. Not really important to making it work right now because the bell still works. All right, so we're at this point. Let's figure out why I'm blowing fuses. So, order up. What happened was I put all this stuff back on the other day after we finished, and I went and turned it on, and I heard all sorts of buzzing for a second, and then it went out. I blew a fuse on the low line, and so that was obviously, well, something got touched somewhere to blow that fuse. So I took the fuses out, or took the blown fuse out, and then, hey Jacob, it's a party now. How have you been? I haven't caught up in a minute. Oh, we've been busy over here. We barely got the arcade to be open. It's not doing great business, but the arcade is it's kind of open. Hopefully it'll still be open this Friday. We're working on this machine. I'm getting a bunch of games that are going to start coming in from our local vendor who's cleaning out his warehouse. So we might have a bunch of pinball machines and parts machines. So we're excited about that. I get to put a couple of machines on location again soon. That's cool. Yeah, I don't think I want to go around and doing that. I congratulate all those who can put games on location and do that kind of stuff. I feel so scared with my games. I'm like, no, don't let it be touched by somebody, not me. But yeah, so what I'm doing today, and before I have to go next door and start cleaning up our storage, because he is bringing us a bunch of stuff, which, by the way, if you guys are going to need some parts or anything, let me know, because I'm gonna guess we're gonna have a lot. Right now we have arcade parts, but he's gonna bring us pinball machines. So if they are non-usable pinball machines, we are going to have a buttload of parts. But I got to track down this blown fuse. So what I did is, I blew the fuse. So I took and replaced the fuse, but I unhooked all the Jones plugs. So that's all the Jones plugs from the playfield and the Jones plugs from the coin door, the Jones plugs from the back box. Unplugged all the Jones plugs. Plugged it back in, game came on, or at least the score motor turned, and we didn't blow a fuse. Then you just started working my way up. Plug back in the coin door, plug back in the play field, all that fine. Go to plug in the back box, and we blew the other fuse, the other low line fuse, doing that. We had the bell was striking like crazy, and then it blew a fuse. So, our problem is lying somewhere off of where this Jones plug connects. So anything that connects to this Jones plug, either back here or down below, that goes through there, could be the problem. So that's what I'm trying to track down. And I did a visual, trying to look to see if whether or not one of these wires or one of these switches got crossed or whatever. So I'm just kind of doing that. The one thing I need to start doing, I just did a quick visual thing. Sometimes these switch stacks, these connections here, if you go and turn them and you move them, you're bending the blade, and you might accidentally touch a wire that shouldn't be touched. So I want to visually go through this. Is the bell 10 points? It's the big bell. Which one is the... Well, we have this... I'm not sure. I'm guessing that... I don't know. I don't know which bell it is. I'll have to look it up. These both have the same colors on them. It's this bell that went off like crazy. Bum, 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 before it quit. So something was firing as the score motor was turning. Something was firing there. But unplugging the back box. So something in the back box. So I'm visually inspecting this big giant stepper. When we took it apart, it had that two-sided, the thing on the disc I don't know what it's called. Whatever. It had the big piece on there that could have been put on backwards. But I checked the video again of when I took it apart and I put it back the right way. So it's not that, but I may still be off on its positioning. Maybe I'm getting contact when I shouldn't be getting contact. So I want to focus on this thing again and see if I can trace it there. And then the steppers down here, there's not a lot going on here. These are just continuous steppers. And I don't see anything crossed. We replaced these coils, but the wiring is okay. Nothing is burnt there. So yeah, it's just a tracking down kind of deal right now. The one thing I started to do down here was I was checking where I was getting continuity through these guys. So which ones were creating continuity, and then maybe when I found them, figure out whether or not they're supposed to have continuity or not. And then maybe I could track it down there and then do the other side and see if I can find it there. I don't know. That was just my method of trying to figure it out. Sounds likely that the score motor is pulsing the bell. Yeah. Yeah, that's just what was happening as it was starting up. But blowing the fuse, I don't know. I think there's a wire that when cleaning all this stuff, I may have accidentally touched it when I shouldn't have. Oh, I just dropped my freaking thing. Where is my light? So yeah, what else? So I already know that these ones give me continuity right here, but that's pretty obvious. They're bridged together. So continuity is going to happen there. But I did find another two that have given me continuity through here, but I don't know if they're supposed to or not. Wait, no, those two are bridged. These two are bridged. It's these two. So that's a white wire and a orange, green, black wire. Yeah, the pulsing and the blown fuse is interesting. I would think if it was a short that the fuse would have popped quicker. This is where my mind wants to go first before before you have to actually really check anything. I'm wondering if the disc on this is not aligned properly. Maybe I've got one of the pads slightly onto where it shouldn't be grounding out when it's turning or something. But I just want to go down and look at this stuff first. Put my mind at ease. And yes, I put the Jones plugs in the right way. I was making sure of that. Still got to clean these though. Those are still kind of dirty. But if they work, they work. Continuity through there. Can't really tell exactly this way. I'm just trying to do a quick, maybe I can narrow it down. Because there are things that in a natural state are normally closed, so. Although there is a lot on here. Also, still haven't installed the switch though. I gotta do that too. Alright, so I only have the two on this end that are making contact when it's unplugged. Is the 100,000 bell? Yeah. So these two. These two. 1, 2 over, 3 over, 3 and 5. 3, and 5. Alright, so I think I'd like to find out 3, which it looks like white wires, and 5 looks like orange with blue, or orange with black. You can never really tell. Those ones are giving me continuity through them, so I want to see if that's just normal. The other things down in the bottom of the game are the scoring relays. I can check to see if those, but I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure I went over them really good when we cleaned them, but that's why I got to go over them again. These relays too, these weird relays, I think maybe I should really look at those, because I'm not used to those relays. Like, they make contact that way. I don't know. There's nothing there. I don't see anything sorted out. I didn't take these apart at all. We just kind of cleaned in them. There's no wires, I don't think, touching where they shouldn't be. Up here on replay, no wires up there. Reset. Coil. No. Yeah, so, or maybe one of these, well, I don't think it'd be a light because that's not the right line for the lights. The lights, that would have blown another fuse. A different fuse. This one's fine. Right, you can take that apart, that's there. That one is okay. Tracking it down. That 100,000 unit is probably it. Yeah, this is, we took it completely apart and cleaned it. So let's just, got all these wires here. We got these switches here. Let's just check to see, flip it over and see if we can find if anything made contact the way it shouldn't be making contact. Let me get my hook. Come here, you. Cotter pin. Dude. There it is. Come on. Trying to pull it out without its spring bouncing off. Just figuring that the bell is pulsing, so the unit is bridging a 100K pulse to the bell. Well, I've got this many fuses to figure it out before I have a problem without having any more fuses. Or maybe back to the score motor. I'll look at that. Let's look at the back of this, and then I'll look at that to see if anything is firing. But it's not. It's only blowing it when the back box is connected. Or you can just drop that in there. That's fine too. Whatever, dude. Gotta check it all. Mayfair, when I started having problems again, I just started from the first relay and just went all the way back through. Alright, let's go to the reset position. So this is the reset position. Just want to see where it's lined up. It is off. Maybe I'm bridging two pads together. Trying to find the appropriate schematic to see how these light score games work. Okay, I have the schematics, and I know they're not online, but I ordered some from Pinball Resource. So I have the schematics, and if you want me to kind of shine something up there, I'll hold it up. But this is not lined up. It's kind of off, and it's bridging between two. Maybe this is just, maybe it's this, because it should, I think, be like that. So I gotta readjust the, if two of those are bridged, that would make sense, yeah. So I gotta readjust this so it's not going that far. So that would require adjusting the nut on the edge of the plunger, right? So it doesn't go back as far? Have I had to do this before? Have I had to adjust these? I think it's, you adjust this screw. Right? Or not. Or maybe I got the, oh, maybe I got the whole disc twisted. Alright, maybe it's just I gotta adjust this thing. I gotta turn that. Let's go back to the beginning. I think that's what it is. Maybe the whole Bakelite is slightly turned. Yeah, I think it is. Let's do that. So I gotta unscrew these 4 screws, which I don't think I can get to without taking this guy off again. I'm gonna guess it's that. Let's hope it's that. Stay there, don't fall on me. I don't like it hanging by the wires, but I really got no choice right now. What is this, freaking highlighter? I want a highlighter. I want a black one. I need to make sure that these guys in the reset position is the top. So that's the top. I don't want to screw that up again. Let's hope that's all it is. I only have a few fuses to go through. And I do remember I put this back on without any regard to it being straight, so that might just be it. I just got so excited. So excited that it was resetting. Alright. I still need to buy some of those circuit breakers so that you can rig a fuse to... Oh yeah. I remember that. Okay, yeah, I remember seeing the thing for that. Alright, so this should come off a little bit easier than the last time. There we go. A lot easier. Let's get that level out and square lined up. Yeah, it's off. We're going to square it up. Let me stay there for a second, buddy. Oh, there's the screwdriver. Loosen this a little. Loosen that. Loosen that. That. And that. So there's your play. Yeah, I really should have done that the last time. And it looks straight. Let's just kind of... I had a 1963 game. I had to take the heat gun and a mallet in order to get the shaft out of one of those units. Those things get pretty seized. Yeah, this one was really kind of gummed up. I say really kind of. It was very gummed up. Do this for a second. Reset. Make sure it's in the reset position. Yes. Then I need to get my light back on here. Stay there for a buddy. Ugh. Make sure I'm centered before I... No, I'm not turning this. Stay straight. That's where I want it to be. Now we can take this off without turning it and start tightening it down. All 4 times and gets a little grip. Yep, slowly get them tighter and tighter. Let's hope that was it. I think it, I'm not going to say I think it is it, but it looked like it was bridging across, so that could definitely cause a problem. Looks a lot straighter. Tight now. This is not a very fun angle to hold this thing. Where are you? Alright. Ow. Some pressure off my arm. Ow. Bad angle. Bad angle. Okay. Top. Push that all the way down before we screw the nut on. Make sure we're still lined up at the reset. There. And there. Yeah. Alright, now I'll put the nut back on. Ugh. And then I'll run it through. And see if it stays lined up. This would be great if this solves the problem. Would be great. Alright. Stay there. Let go of the screwdriver. Kind of hold this up for a second. Wait, let me get my light on my head so I can see. Okay. It's lined up on the pad. Lined up on the pad. Too. I'm pretty sure it is. It looks like it's lined up there. I think maybe just a hair's breadth more would do it, but I don't know if I can get this apart without. Be careful taking it apart without moving anything. It's not fun. This is not fun. Why? Reset. Very slightly more. That side is lined up. I don't know, it's not bridging. Oh, hold on. For my doctor's appointment tomorrow here. Hello. Yes. Yep, I should be there. Okay. All right, no problem. All right, thank you too. Bye. Yeah. So yeah, doctor's appointments. Apparently, I've got some weird thing going on with my heart. So they're doing a bunch of testing tomorrow, which I just say they're turning me into Captain America or something. Apparently, I've been shocked by one too many games. I guess that's what happened. Now my heart's not pumping right, or I'm in love because it keeps skipping a beat. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor, but I gotta get a bunch of tests tomorrow. All right, so the pads they're not touching. It's just not completely centered. Ooh, weird things with hearts. Yeah, I know, right? It's not 100% centered, but it's not rubbing on the thing. Yeah, I still want to adjust it. All right. I want to go a little bit more this way. No? I need to be able to do this with the top part on. I just can't get the screwdriver in there. Yeah, there's no way to unscrew it with the freaking this piece on. Come here, you. Come on. Stop it. At least this thing is a lot easier, more easier to take off. Most easiest. The most easiest it's ever been. Come on, you. Come on, you. Ah! I saw it. I'll find it. I'll get it. Let's see where it fell. Alright, let me get this piece here. Don't fall. Stay there. I didn't say anything, Siri. Shut up. I don't know what she thought I said, but I didn't say anything close to that name. Reset. Reset position. Don't say it out loud. Why? What happens if I say it out loud? Come here, you. This would be a lot easier if it wasn't so gigantic. Looks like it lines up there. Alright, now, don't move. Stay there. Stay there. Come on. At least by the end of this, we need to see if I'm still blowing fuses, right? Stay there. There we go. This guy. fire this thing. Man, why does it seem like it just does not line up once I get this thing back on? Sometimes I think the contacts are misaligned when really I didn't let the solenoid snap open. Yeah, I know. That too. You fired, and I've been getting in the habit of pushing the plunger in, moving quickly with the finger out of the way. Yeah. And I said that too. You gotta try to simulate how it works when the coil fires it and not your finger. But this big bad boy does not like it. Maybe it's also I gotta get the nut on there so it's flat. Get your flat nuts on there. Flatten your nuts. Hey there, buddy. Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, it's like right there. And it's not bridging. I need to just do it. Definitely see why they revised this design. I know, it's freaking gigantic stepper. I like it better when you can just take a part out and sorry. I like it better when you just take a part out and not have to worry about that. What happened? Skipped all the way back around to the booty. Hanging on wires here. Goes around, keeps going around. Yeah. Not at all easy to adjust. If you have a big giant stepper like this in your game, just go and be scared and fear and like, oh no! I have to adjust this stupid gigantic stepper. No! No! I will get it. I don't like how it's sitting. Man, that took so much time the first time trying to take that thing off. Very slightly. Just right there. Only slightly. It's like the opposite of Pimp My Stepper. Yo, dog. Heard you like steppers. We're going to make them smaller and easier to adjust. Oh! Here you go. Here's a self-adjusting one. Wait, what? Self-adjusting? I'll pay anything. Anything! Alright, you rat bastard. Put this on here again, see if it's flat. I turned it very slightly, very slightly. I'll tighten that down in a minute. Yes. Now it's centered. Yes, it's centered. Oh. All right, you punk. Get on there. Ow. That hurt. Yes. Completely centered on the pad now. All right. Let's hope that was the problem, too. Oh, wait, let me just kind of glance over that I didn't accidentally hit something I shouldn't have. All right, we'll put this guy back on there. And up there. All right. We are not going to blow a fuse. This is going to be it. This is what's going to make it work. There, up a little bit so I can get the screw in the whole shebang. Oh, there we go. And I dropped one screw in the back box or in the bottom of the play field, so I got to reach around there and get that. My bad. I didn't cover up the little hole. All right. Also need to put a power switch in this thing. I need to get the right gauge wire. I don't think I have enough of it. I already have a switch though, so that's good. All right, there's that. Reset to there. All right. Let's see what happens. Probably has the... It does have a knockoff switch on the bottom. Yes, it does. Which, what it was, it says on the what does it say on the flyer? Kind of fun to hit the, kind of fun. No, it says on the flyer that it has that knockoff switch that completely shuts off the machine. And I'm like, that's not true. There's still power on the transformer. Doesn't completely shut it off. Alright. So what I'm going to do first is kind of back this up a little bit. Oh, not that one. That one. See if we can get a shot down here. And the back box. I already replaced the fuse, I think. This is not going to be as easy as I thought. Here we go. I need an extension cord. I need this on the end of my extension cord. And this plugged in. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is where it's at. I'm just going to leave that Jones plug undone. So all we have plugged in is the playfield and the playfield to the back box and everything else. So just where I left it. I did already. Let me make sure I swiped it all out first. I think I swiped out all the burn fuses. Yes, I did. All right. Let's see if one kind of magic happens or the bad kind of magic happens. Get off of there. Is this doesn't zoom out anymore. I'm too close. Alright. Good magic. We want good magic. Off. Okay, remember, the back box is not connected yet. Things are on. Let me just do this. So that reset the score motor. Alright. Now I'm going to plug in the back box. No magic smoke. Well, that's, remember, the back box isn't plugged in yet. Alright, here we go. Back box. Let's see if it happens. I mean, I'm hoping for no magic smoke. Okay, yeah. If it does happen, well, that's going to be another stream because I'm kind of stuck here. I'm going to move the score motor just a little bit so it has to reset. Here we go. Something was firing back there. What was that? Well, it came back on. Hold on. That's not good. Let's go with the score motor. But hey, I didn't blow a fuse though. Small bell locked on. Wait. Let me see if I blew the fuse again. I didn't see it go. But it could have. Yeah, I blew the fuse again. Small bell locked on. I don't think so. Alright, I'm going to push this a little bit further so I get a better shot of everything in the back box. And I'm going to replace the fuse, replace the fuse one more time. But, alright, let me go and do a wide shot, a bigger shot, so maybe it'll see better. That's what I saw. Making a clip. I'm going to do one more time here. For analysis. Thank you. Alright. Change out the fuse. We'll see what happens. I'm only going to leave it on for a second. I'm not going to try to... What's that crap? Did I blow that other fuse too? No. It's there. It's there. Ah, come here, you. What about the bottom one? Nope, that one's good too. Alright, well. Try this again. New fuse pop? No, not yet. It's about to though. Alright, so this is just going to be a see what happens in the back box. but nothing is going. Why is nothing moving? Oh, I know why. Never mind. Start relay's got a latch. When it pops the fuse, I got to reset the start relay. Okay. Oh yeah, I saw that stick on. Yeah. Okay. So I got somewhere to look. So I saw that one stick on. I just don't want to blow the fuse again. Just kind of leaving it. Probably did. Yep. Alright, so we're not going to blow any more fuses. We're going to stop there. But I got stuff to look at. I'll look at that clip and I'll look at that. And I'll get back into that. But... Alright. Another clip. Thank you. I will look that up. Thank you. Alright, so that's all the time I got for this afternoon because I got to go work on cleaning up the storage so that when he brings more games I have room to put them. But at least working it out. I know at least that stepper was not lined up right, but it is now, so we'll look and figure out why that chime was sticking. I'm thinking to just go back through and just look at all my relays again. Look on the score motor. Look everywhere. Let's see what happened. But I don't have to bore that with the stream. But tomorrow, I got to do this. The bell didn't fire, so that's good. The big bell didn't fire, so that's good. Yes. So we'll look at the little bell. Tomorrow I have all that doctor's crap I got to do. So looks like Wednesday. Wednesday I'll be back at it. But thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Jacob and Pez, for your advice and help. And we'll get this guy running. And hopefully... let's hope that the arcade can open again this Friday. So take care, have fun, enjoy the rest of your afternoons. I will see you all later. Bye.